はい、改めましてちょっと画面がバグったので再度配信開始します。それでは再開ですね。まあいいや。どこまで話したっけな。そうです。ここの、囚人たちを助けるにあたって牢屋の鍵がないんですよね。ないっていうか、こいつこれが牢屋の鍵だったんですけど、どうもこの鍵がですね、拾ったはいいけど、なんか一回使ったらなくなって牢屋を開けられなくなったんですよ。まあ、バグなのかわかんないんですけど、だからね、こうレベル上げて、そのスキルを上げて、ピッキングレベルを上げないともうどうにもならなかったんで、だからまあレベルを上げるんですけどね上げたんですけど、これね、鍵持ってないとか言い始めるから、じゃあピッキングレベル上げましょうっつって。
Thank you. We owe you our lives. Just a little more patience. I still have to release the other prisoners.
なのでまあそんなこんなでちょっとここで始めていきます。なんかもうここまでレベル上げてどうこうやってくると、本当敵のキャラクターっていうか、なんか変わり映えしない数が少ないんですよねだからなんか戦い方もどうもね、なんかいろいろ切り替え、魔法とか剣とか切り替えできますけど、なんか切り替えするのもめんどくさい、そこまでの戦略性がないというか。ちょっとね、内容がつまんなくなってきた。まあストーリーとかね、なんかそういうのは悪くはないんだけど、ちょっと戦闘とかがいまいちでね、面白くなくなってきてんだよね。なんかだんだんだるくなってきちゃって。
Now that they are free, we must help the prisoners escape this place.
They can't leave through the city. The guards will stop them, or worse.
So we have to find another way to get them out.
結局博士見つけないみたいな展開で終わりそうだよな。なんかこの動きもさ、で正直この戦利品とかなんかね拾ってもさ正直本当に買い物とか一切というかろくにしないんだよね。何買ったや、ね、ほとんどなんか人型の敵キャラから奪ったやつそのまんまやって、でなんかややもしてたらレジェンド武器見つかったからそっちやってねえ、なんか錬金術のなんかレベル上げてとか、ね、いやいいよ、やっぱり博士のところとりあえず行こう。 正直ここまで来たらあれだよな、この戦利品ってやらも戦利品とかなんか取るのもな、もうあまりいいのがないしさ、早い段階でそのレジェンド武器とかやったらもうこいつらどうもなんかそのね、アイテムのバランス、しかもこの防具とかも種類がありそうであるように見えるけどあんまないしね、実際に。なんか重要な、鍵ここにあったわ。レベル上げんでもよかったじゃん。すげえ無駄なことした。
These poor people lost their lives only a few hours ago. They could not survive this mutilation.
And they were tyrant. They were cut up like pieces of meat. May the volcano engulf those who did this.
じゃあもうさっさとここ入ればよかったんか。時系列的にちょっとさ、なんかやったらすぐ失敗すんだもんよ。ここにもなんかあるわ。
This note carefully describes the sequence of the experiments. There are even sketches. It's hard not to feel sick. This is proof of all the horrors committed here. Vasily has locked himself in his office.
The door is too thick. We must find a key.
じゃあもう行くとこここしかないね。
Who are you, and under what right do you enter here?
I'm the legate of the merchant congregation, and I'm
博士
here
っ
to put an
て
end to
風
your
貌じゃ
crimes.
ないんだ
My
けどさ。
crimes? What are you talking about? My work was for the good of humanity. Don't tell me you're crying over some savages. The survival of our species requires
どうもなんかこう
sacrifice.
キャラクター濃いんだけどなんか手抜きみたいな感じで、もうさっさとメインクエストやって終わるか。
What did you hope to find from all these experiments?
Since the Malachor never reached this island, I wanted to check if these savages were sensitive to it. And I discovered that they were naturally resistant.
なんか最初だけだな、ちょっとその面白い可能性があった
So I
の。
tried to
もう
isolate
こう
this
最後まで
resistance
来
to
る
develop
と
a cure in
あと
order
だ
to
んだん
send it
だら
to
けてくる
people
わ。
on the continent. But I doubt that you will be able to understand the subtlety of such an approach.
This man is a cold-blooded reptile. My brothers and sisters were no more than ants to him.
You are a very beautiful
どうもね、こ
specimen.
のなんだろう、
When I think of the power
会話を見
flowing
ると
through your
感情の
veins.
ぶつけ方が
We
ね、
learned everything we wanted to know.
感情の総
This
合
lab
的
will
な
close and you will
ぶつか
answer
り
for
方が
everything you have done.
You
微
think
妙
so? Guards,
微妙
capture
な
these
んだよ
people.
ね。
Move away! Things are about to get...
Stop! Think of my knowledge. All that I have accomplished. That can never disappear.
どうしたいのこれ。彼を止める殺す止める殺す。これなんか表現が違うよね、これ絶対にね。許す許さないみたいな感じでいいのかな。止めたらどうなんだこれ。止めるって逃がすってことなのかな。 何もしないってことなのかな。どうすんだこれ。何なんだ。まあ止めるでいいわ。
You will answer for your crimes in court.
But I'll be out soon. My colleagues will understand the importance of my work.
We shall see about that.
どっちでもいいわもう。この新しい歯車とかさ、これなんだろうな。クエストアイテムなんだろうけれども、ここでそのクエストアイテムみたいなものを拾って何になるんだこれ。分析すると、お、銃が見つかったけどこの精度が5とかさ。
I can't believe it. Constantine's malachor was caused by a silly. The potion we were made to drink when we landed on the island was contaminated. How dare he do such a thing?
お、なんか今重要なことを言ってたぞ。こいつのせいでコンスタンティンがあの状況になったと。別にヒクメットを経由しようがしなかろうがどっちでもいいんじゃないの。なんかね、いろいろすっきりしないんだよな。なんだろうね。どういやいいのか。
It's perfect. We just have to clear the way.
Hmm? これか?
The mechanism doesn't work.
あ、ここで歯車がいるってことか。だってこれ歯車もそうだし修理するとかでもできるもんな。
Let's go. I found a way out of the city. But be careful. You are weakened, and creatures roam these tunnels. I will lead the way.
っていうかここもう通ったしな。普通に通った邪魔。通ったしもう敵だって倒しちゃったよね。あいつら登ってこないの？こいつらはあれだ。NPC は動かないのかこれ。まあとりあえず先進めばいいか。ねえ、だからさ、なんかいろんな武器をばさ、ほら倒しちゃったもんよ。だからアイテムとか入れてもさ、それが装備できないとかさ、なんかそんなんあったらさ、金なんか金貨とか手に入れても買えるものがほとんどないわけよ。まあ買う必要がないしね。売買するっていうようなね状況下にならなさすぎなんだよね。 なんだろうな、こうドラクエとかで言えばね、もう少し我慢すれば鋼の剣変えるだとか、そういうようなね状況下に陥らないんだよね。でもこのなんだろうな、こうアイテムとか道具とかそのバランスがさ、結局こいつらも倒しちゃってるし、そのまんま行きゃいいわけだろな。今ちょっとピラフ食べてます。エビピラフ。腹減ってんね。
Yes, we will always be grateful. We're not very far from the Hikmet outpost. You'll have to be careful.
I know how to reach the port without being seen.
Perfect. As for you, you should take refuge in Vikshadia. You will be safe there, but you should avoid the Alliance patrols.
We'll get there. Qua awal and segven.
次何のゲームやろうかなみたいなことを考えちゃうね。どうもこのファストトラベルもなんだかなって感じなんだよね。行動がやっぱりちょっとチャッチーな、いろいろとな。
Your Excellency,
Lord de Sade, and to what do I owe this honor?
I've been to Asili's laboratory and what I discovered was abominable. Hundreds of poor souls tortured, victims of horrifying experiments. There were so many dead that a pit had been dug to burn the bodies.
How horrifying. I cannot believe it.
The natives were not the only victims of these crimes. There are also a number of Nauts.
Nauts?
なんか言葉と表情が合ってねえんだよな。感情がちょっと微妙なんだよ。
So he may answer these accusations?
Yes, we captured him.
Really? Very well. I will ensure that he is judged as quickly as possible. What was done with the prisoners that were being held in the laboratory?
They were freed. The Dinea Extrigau are satisfied and should call off their attack.
What a relief. Finally some good news. How can I repay you?
By allowing me to take part in the trial proceedings. What I saw merits justice, and I fear that the accused will find a great many defenders amongst his fellow savants.
It is a rather novel request, but granted. I shall inform the prosecutor. Let us remember that the madness of a man should not cast a shadow upon the greater sum of his work. His research is perhaps our only chance of discovering a remedy. Would you like to speak with me about any other subjects?
Can you tell me anything about Dr. Asili?
Asili is a
まだ
man
なんか
of
サイドクエスト
remarkable
続き始まったな。
one of
おい
our most brilliant sages.
You already told me that, Your Excellency.
He is one of those rare men who master alchemy, mathematics, and naturalism with equal assiduity. Anatomy has no secrets for him, and medicine is his passion. Do you realize that it was he who perfected the inoculation technique?
Inoculation? What is that?
A novel treatment that allows us to fabricate immunity to sickness, such as the pox. If any man can find a remedy for the Malachor, it would be him.
I have to go. Look forward to seeing you again.
Farewell, my lord.
なんかサイドクエスト、これまあサイドクエストだよな。でもメインクエストとの関係性も出てきそうな内容だったけど、検察官に協力を申し出る。
Hello. To whom do I have the honor of speaking?
Desade. I'm the legate of the merchant congregation. Governor Burren told me to pay you a visit.
Oh. It is you who arrested Dr. Asili and must help me prepare the trial.
Exactly.
Excellent. We will have lots to do if we want the doctor to pay for his crimes. The accused has a lot of support. Any evidence and testimonies you can gather will be useful.
We'll have no problem gathering witnesses. His laboratory cells were full of them.
We will call them to the witness box, of course. But be aware that if the victims are natives, their words will unfortunately not carry much weight here.
There were also some noughts. Perhaps I could convince some of the doctor's colleagues to talk.
Their testimony will be crucial. The word of other scholars is likely to be the only thing that condemns him. That plus any material evidence you can gather.
I picked up a strange powder in the laboratory. A substance that I've not been able to identify.
You should show it to an alchemist. We need to know what it is to be able to use it.
These documents describe Dr. Asili's work, as well as the horrible experiments he was performing.
Perfect. I will read them in detail. We will no doubt find something to support my prosecution.
I have found a letter proving that Dr. Asili voluntarily transmitted the Malachor to my cousin, Constantin Dorsey. I would like to add that I too was a victim of this poisoning.
Did the accused try to take the life of the governor of New Serene? This is an extremely serious crime.
Indeed. He saw my cousin and me as the ideal control group to prove his theories. And no humanitarian or diplomatic consideration could put a stop to his ambition.
This letter alone is crucial proof. I will put it on our file.
Do we have any chance of winning?
Yes, I am rather confident. You have provided overwhelming evidence. But if we had witnesses, we would have an even bigger
な
chance
か
of
な
winning.
か興味深い内容だけ
The
れど
Naught should
も
be at the port, and the islanders had to take refuge in Vikshadir. As for the scientists, they said they would go back to the governor's laboratory. I should give this powder to someone who can tell me what it is.
話してみるか。アシリとじゃなくてアフラとか。アフラと話してみましょう。
Desade, I'm happy to see you. Can I do anything for you?
I would like you to tell me about Asili.
I was expecting you to come and see me about this. What would you like to know?
Were you aware of Dr. Asili's experiments?
In part, yes. That's why I chose not to be his student any longer.
Why not say anything?
Because I never thought he would go so far. Over time, he became more and more cruel. I found his approach brutal. As if by meeting the natives it deprived him of all humanity. He spoke of them as test subjects, never as people. But there was a time when he was the greatest doctor and scientist in the Alliance. And I clung on to that memory.
You do know that you were captured thanks to him.
Yes, but I thought the natives wanted to trade us merely as prisoners of war. I was blind. And stupid. I regret it terribly.
Do you think, as your master does, that science justifies all sacrifices?
No. I may have believed that at one time, without of course ever imagining that we'd resort to such cruel treatment. But Dunkus, you and Siora have opened my eyes to the limits of science. To worship it as we do in the Alliance does not make us better than Teleme.
In your opinion, were the horrors practiced in this laboratory necessary for his research?
No, even if he was convinced of it. General interest outweighs the suffering of a few individuals. He wanted results quickly, to the point of neglecting slower, more humane methods. I hope we'll succeed in ensuring these experiments never happen again.
Would you be willing to testify against Dr. Asili during his trial?
Of course. I was going to talk to you about that. I want to convince my colleagues that we must give up these kind of methods. And even if it costs me dearly, I want my master to pay for what he did. Anything else?
Tell me about your studies with Dr. Asili.
He was not always mad, you know. He was a renowned doctor back in Al-Sad. His unusual methods saved many lives, and I was very proud to be amongst his students. He taught me a lot. He was a great teacher. He was strict and severe, but he always pushed us to do our best. It's only when I joined him on the island that I understood that there was something wrong. He seemed changed and completely obsessed with the Malachor. You know it killed his wife and 2 children. He was so shaken by that, he no longer showed any restraint in his research. Such a waste. The natives he massacred as well as for science.
そんな話の内容はあったの?
I must leave you.
お前一緒に来い。で、分析させましょう。
I never thought I'd see you here again. Why are you still free?
Dr. Honor made sure that I was set free. He needed my help. What do you want?
What is your purpose here?
I helped Dr. Honor to understand the research of my former master. He's the one who
寒く
became
なっ
his
てきた
successor.
な。
I do hope that he doesn't use the same methods.
ちょっと暖房
What
入
about
れ
your
る
other
か。
colleagues? What's become of them?
They felt guilty. They stopped their experiments and returned to Al-Sad.
What do the other scholars think of Dr. Asili now that his actions have been revealed for all to see?
Most still admire him greatly. He was the greatest amongst us, you know? They didn't witness what was happening in the lab, and they have little interest in the natives. For them, the main problem is political, given that the war against the rebels cost us dearly. Until they understand the horrors that happened there, they will not have any moral issues.
I discovered this strange powder in one of the laboratory's chests. Do you know what it is?
I did see the doctor using it once or twice, but I don't know what it is. But I can study it for you if you want. I have the tools that will allow me to do so here.
So, what is it?
It is a quintessence of black blood. Probably created using the blood of numerous patients. The doctor managed to harness the very concept of the Malachor in this powder. A single pinch ingested by someone would be enough for them to be afflicted by the disease. With the quantities that you brought me, hundreds of people could be contaminated. It's terrifying. I cannot believe Asili would do such a thing. Here, these are my notes. I wrote down all the details of my experiments as well as my conclusions.
Thank you. I will relay them to the prosecutor. Are you prepared to testify against Dr. Asili?
I would like to say no. You had me thrown in prison, and without Dr. Honor's intervention, I would still be there.
いつ収監したん
I
だ。
can't stop thinking about what we did in that laboratory. I think only by testifying will I ease my conscience.
Thank you. Your story could change the outcome of
い
this
つ
trial.
接点があったこれと。
I must leave you. What she saw working
誰だ
alongside
こいつ。
Asili obviously upset her. She will make an excellent witness.
研究室長。今までのイベントで何かあったっけこれ。全く記憶にないんだが。おっとなんかあるけど。なんか見つけたけどなんかならんのこれ。おおおおなんだここ。
Dr. Honor, what do you want?
What is your role and what is your research topic?
I'm in charge of the governor's laboratories. My main research concerns the Malicor, of course. Above all, we searched for a way to reduce the suffering of the sick.
Searched?
Now that we have access to my colleague Asili's work, it gives us hope of finding a cure.
So the crimes he committed while conducting his work do not concern you?
He will be judged for that. But it would be a shame for him to have done all this for nothing.
What do you think of Dr. Asili now that you've learned how he conducted his research?
Well, obviously the few excesses he has conceded himself are unfortunate, but he remains the greatest scientist that the Alliance has ever known. His work has had a profound effect on science. It seems quite unfair to me to reduce his life's work just to what he has done lately.
If I understand correctly, you will be one of his defenders.
Naturally. I don't deny that he made a terrible mistake, but he meant well. And he was probably acting on behalf of our helplessness to combat the Malicor.
Would you agree to speak at the trial? Your influence could be crucial.
Oh, but I already intended to give a statement. His lawyer came to find me.
So are you ready to defend a man who used to torture and murder to advance his research?
Indeed, because I think the entire work of a scientist should not be judged on a single mistake. It is obvious that he should not have used such methods, but Asili has never been very political. I doubt he understood the implications of his actions.
So you're saying the only problem in this case is political?
Essentially, yes. The war he nearly caused could have been expensive for our governor and the city, but let's not fool ourselves. No tears will be shed over the fate of a few of those bloodthirsty savages.
Thank you. I must leave you.
Dr. Honor, what do you want?
これは一体何が足りないんだこの3番ってのは。必要な能力レベルってこれなんだ3番って直感レベルかこれ。 まあじゃあアフラに頼むわ。
Afra, did you have something to say to Dr. Honor?
めんどくさいなんかもいろいろ。
I feel it is my duty to warn him. You probably know that I was one of Dr. Isili's students.
Naturally. It is undoubtedly under his influence that you have developed this remarkable analytical spirit.
Perhaps. But my analytical mind also pushed me to refuse to continue working with him. I saw his madness and cruelty grow deeper, and what we discovered in this laboratory was abominable. We must condemn him, not only so he can pay for this crime, but to free science from these kinds of abject methods.
Very well. You've convinced me. I will now testify for the prosecution. It is true that it's time to turn the page and leave his cruel methods behind.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Honor is an influential scholar. His testimony would convince the judges.
もう何が何だかよくわからん。直感レベルとかカリスマとかなくてもいいのかこれじゃあ。なんか
Is everything all right?
Once
な
again,
んか襲われてた
thanks
け
to
ど
you. These people wanted to kill me.
They certainly wanted to prevent you from testifying in the doctor's trial.
The doctor will be judged. I suppose you'd like me to testify about how we suffered.
Indeed. If you do not fear another attempt on your life by these men.
Don't worry. I won't put up with intimidation. From now on, my people will watch over me until I can testify. And I intend to witness the execution of our torturer. You can count on me.
Thank you. Your word will be crucial during the trial.
別に金貨なんかもういらんよ。ほんとマジで使わんしさ。はい、どこっすかそれ。
Hey! You are the Ololmenawi who freed us. We managed to reach Vikshadir.
They told me what you did for them, Renaigsi. Well done. I was able to give them the care they needed. Some wounds will take time to heal, but they are safe thanks to you.
I'm happy to see that they're better.
But you didn't come here for that, did you?
No. I came to ask for your help. The doctor who captured and tortured you is about to be tried for his crimes. He has a lot of support among his people. He's a respected man despite what he did. If we don't have testimony from some of his victims, he will surely be released.
You'll have our words.
We'll go to the Grand City and tell our story.
And the mad lion will die for causing so much harm to our people.
頭のおかしいライオン。
You can return to Hikmet. I'll make sure they get there in good health.
Thank you, Tiernahar. And thank you all. I blame myself for forcing these poor people back to the city where they have suffered so much.
My people are strong and proud. They will not be afraid to speak in front of your judges for justice.
めんどくさ。すごいめんどくさい。まあ目的がなんだろう、目的がはっきりしてはいるからなんだろうな、まあそこまでの迷うってことはねえんだけど、だからまあ動画を配信するにあたってはまあ決まった動きを取ればいいから、まあその辺は楽っちゃ楽だよね。何をどうしていいかがわからないと延々と動画でうろちょろするから。
An alchemist studied the powder that we found in the laboratory. Apparently, it's some kind of concentrate made from the blood of several patients with the Malachor. It seems that less than a pinch of this powder is enough to contaminate whoever consumes it. There's enough here to make a small town sick.
A terrifying thought. I will add the analysis and this powder to the evidence on record. You have gathered overwhelming evidence. The defense will have a hard time saving the accused. I think we can go to trial with confidence now.
A Naut victim of Dr. Asili agreed to testify at the trial.
Excellent. This kind of testimony will certainly rattle his defense.
The islanders will testify at the trial. Their injuries will surely convince the judges.
Indeed. But do bear in mind that the islanders are not highly regarded in Hikmet.
これ選択肢が一つずつ消えていくな。これあれか。これやらないとフラグ立たないってやつか。
I managed to convince the scientists in the governor's laboratory to speak in our favor.
Excellent. These are not direct witnesses, but if they denounce the doctor, we are sure to be heard.
I even got a testimony from one of Dr. Asili's colleagues.
Perfect. That will convince our scientists, and you know how important they are in Hikmet.
Afra, one of Dr. Asili's former students, has agreed to testify.
Excellent. This woman is very respected by the governor. Her statement will carry a lot of weight.
やっぱりこれ選択しないとあれだね。フラグ立たなかったね、多分。
Will the trial begin soon?
It seems to be the right time. Excellent investigation work. I think we have every chance of winning.
Where will the trial be held?
At the palace. I regret to inform you that you will not be able to attend. However, I'm sure the governor will keep you informed of the outcome of the proceedings.
Madame, congratulations. The trial was exemplary. Asili's madness was exposed to the entire world. And you have demonstrated the horror of his methods.
Thank you, Excellency. But all praise should be showered upon Sir Desade. The evidence he supplied was irrefutable.
It was necessary that you hear the victims, in order to understand the extremities to which your science has taken you.
Come now. One cannot conclude that science was guilty here.
Not science, but the savants were. It is never right to set aside humanity in the name of the common good. No knowledge justifies killing or torture.
Your words are wise, and I promise to remember them.
You have not always shown yourself a man of impeccable judgment, Excellency.
We are all, from time to time, victim of our own blind enthusiasm, that is true. But this trial has shaken my usual resolve. It may very well change the course of history.
なんかブリッジ同盟の評判が軒並み上がったんだけど。 処刑するんだ。ぶち込むだけで終わりじゃないんだ。
Afra, are you certain that you want to attend this?
I do not want to attend. I must.
Dr. Asili, you have been found guilty of all accusations brought against you. In consequence, the Bridge Alliance Tribunal condemns you to death. Do you have any final words?
You treat me like a monster. But how many times have you stayed your own hands? So close to the goal to finally find a remedy, you would have done as I. What do a few lives mean when the future of all humanity hangs in the balance? You are nothing more than idiots, incompetents, and you, Baron, are the greatest hypocrite of all. You know that I am right.
Executioner, earn your pay.
You know that I am right.
じゃあそうするか。サイドクエストもなんか他のクエストみたいなのもミッションも終わったんで行きます。なんか最後に近づくにつれてすごい不満がいろいろ出てきた。なんだろうな。このレジェンド武器は強いのか弱いのかわからんよ俺。どうなの？装備してよかったのかあれ。はい、メインクエストやりましょうかね。
Constantine, my dear cousin, I'm always happy to see you. What news do you bring? We managed to solve the problem of the attacks on San Mateus.
Really? So, what was causing them?
The city and its outposts were continuously being attacked by animals. These beasts were led by a large creature that strangely resembled a mountain guardian.
This is the same creature which High King Vinbar turned into, isn't it?
Exactly. Except it looked sick and it didn't act like the High King did. It was calling the animals around it, and it seemed like it was transferring its disease to them before making them attack. I have never seen anything like it. And there's more. Hikmet was in a similar situation. Do you remember?
Of course. Don't tell me that a Guardian was involved there as well.
Yes. The governor was convinced that the attacks were led by the islanders. And yet they were being attacked as well. And it was by their side that I fought the creature. That time it was a Nardai Glenderman, a beach guardian. But it seemed just as sick. And it was also manipulating the animals to make them aggressive.
So, it would be some kind of epidemic affecting the Guardians. I don't see what we can do about it. Actually, I think you've already done what had to be done by eliminating those that were threatening our neighbors.
Perhaps. But I'm certain there's more to it than a simple epidemic. These beasts attack in a coordinated fashion, which requires an intelligence that they don't have.
You're exaggerating, dear cousin. The attacks you thought were coordinated may just have been coincidental.
You may be right. But I can't help thinking that someone is behind all this.
Do you really believe that a Denegad would want to take over the island? Cousin, you know how much I respect you, but frankly, this doesn't seem very coherent. And we have other reasons to be preoccupied. Another epidemic, one that concerns us a lot more, remember? You should try to meet this Enon Milflicterman, who is so well protected.
I have. It wasn't simple, but I finally managed to enter the sanctuary at the heart of the island.
Really? You should have mentioned it earlier.
The sanctuary is heavily protected. Only a High King can open it.
I remember you saying that Vinbar's death wasn't going to help us. How did you fix this problem?
I had to interfere in the natives' elections and earn the trust of the pretender who seemed to be the best choice.
You really are an outstanding diplomat. My father is an old, bitter man, but he was right about you. Tell me, who did you choose?
Dunkus. He's the king of the village of Vigyigador, and a Donegad full of wisdom.
I'm certain that you have made the right choice. And then what did you do?
I was able to enter the sanctuary. It was an incredible experience.
It had to be. Oh, how I envy you. Entering the most secret places on this island, talking to a god. What does he look like? Is he some kind of very old and very powerful Donegad?
No. In fact, I spoke to an extremely large tree. As strange as it may sound.
Fascinating. And I thought that gods were always old, bearded men. Did he tell you where the Malachor was coming from? Is it a curse that he cast upon the first settlers?
No. According to him, we are responsible for the emergence of the Malachor. By exploiting the Earth so much, we have poisoned it. And the disease has contaminated us through the water that we drink and the plants that we eat.
Strange, and yet it seems plausible. So, there wouldn't be an antidote?
He says that the Earth can be healed. That his children know how to do it. I suppose he was talking about the Donegada. He also said that by healing the Earth, we would heal those who live on it.
This is a fascinating revelation. It won't be easy for our neighbors to accept it, however. I'm afraid that even my father might receive it with skepticism. Did he tell you anything else?
こうなんだろうな、言わないでエンディングとかなんかいろいろ変わりそうだね。まあいいや、全部。
Yes. Something rather disturbing. He talked about you. He said his existence was in danger because of you.
Really? But that doesn't make any sense. I never hurt anybody on this island. Unlike our neighbors, I have never abducted or tried to convert islanders.
I don't think that's what he was referring to.
Cousin, please, you know me. I have made some mistakes, but I never threatened anybody. The only person who I put in danger is you. And you know how sorry I am about that.
Yes, I do know.
Forget about it, will you? This god manifestly wants us to pay for the sins of our fathers and to have his revenge for the invasion. By sowing the seeds of discord between us, he's probably hoping to weaken us. Do you realize that you have succeeded where everyone else has failed? The whole continent should be thanking you. But I see it's already quite late. If you will excuse me, dear cousin. Regrettably, I must leave you.
Where are you going?
Not very far, rest assured. But I have a small personal matter to take care of, you see. Don't be concerned. There's absolutely no risk. Use the opportunity to take some rest. You've really performed miracles recently. See you later.
なんかちょっと何言ってるかわからないんだがな。
God, do you know where my cousin is going?
Sorry, Your Excellency. His Highness didn't tell me anything.
You are one of his bodyguards, aren't you?
I am, Your Excellency. But recently it has been difficult to force His Highness to accept our presence.
Recently? You mean this isn't the first time he's left without an escort?
I'm sorry, Your Excellency.
You better tell me everything.
But Fine. I don't mean to be disrespectful towards him. But His Highness's behavior has been very peculiar recently. He sleeps very little and goes out alone almost every night.
And it didn't occur to anyone that I should be informed?
Well, His Highness had specifically ordered us not to tell you about it.
And where does he go? I thought the days when he used to go from tavern to tavern were over.
He doesn't go to taverns, Your Excellency. From what I know, he goes outside the city.
Where could he go outside the city?
I've no idea. We saw him going north. That's all I know.
Charisma 発動.
Listen, I understand this matter is putting you in a difficult situation. You were supposed to protect my cousin wherever he went, but he refused and ordered you to keep your mouth shut. But Constantine is not just my governor. He's my cousin. I'm worried about him. He's already been abducted once when leaving the city. So, if you know anything else...
I don't really know where he's going, Your Excellency. But I think I know where you could find out. When he doesn't leave the palace, he stays in his office for hours. He writes so much down in there that he could fill entire books. Here, I have the key. Take it. I hope you find His Highness and manage to make him see reason.
I don't like this at all. What could he be doing outside every night?
Ever since he became Onol Manawi, he has become even stranger than he was before.
I'm starting to believe that the revelations of Enon Miel Frictamen had some truth to them. Let's rummage through his papers. We may find a clue.
物騒なこと書いてあるな、おい。違う。その中の部分的に
But we can't let him kill these people simply because he's afraid they might have seen him. なんか始まってる、なんか始まってる。 The trees on your road always bear fruit.
Thanks. You saved us. These beasts would have torn us to shreds.
These animals were strange, as if they were enraged. Thanks again, Renaigse.
I'm glad I could help you. And perhaps you can do me a favor in return. I'm looking for a young man, a Renaigse, but he looks a bit like an Onol Manawi.
Someone like you?
In some ways. But his marks are different, darker.
He's talking about the crazy Donegad.
Indeed, that might be him. Do you know where to find him?
No, we see him passing by around nightfall, but we don't know where he's going.
He walks along the path, often followed by some beasts.
He has a sinister look in his eyes. He scares me, so we stay hidden.
And you do well to hide. I think he's the one who sent these animals to attack you. Do you have any idea how I could figure out where he's going?
He could hide in the old house. He would see him passing by and could follow, couldn't he?
You're right. If you take this path to the right, you'll reach an abandoned house. You can hide there. And from up there, you will be able to see the path perfectly.
Thank you. You've been a great help. And stay hidden. You may still be in danger.
Be prudent, Onol Manawi.
You're very isolated here. Why live so far from a village?
It's a long story. Matir, will you tell him?
When I was young, I got engaged to a young man. But he wasn't my Minundanem. I thought he was, but I was wrong. And one day, I met the one I would love for all my life. As I had broken my engagement, we were exiled.
So, our parents came to settle here. They built this house, and we were born.
There. Now you know the whole story. Do you want to know anything else?
I'll leave you alone.
Qua awalem seg.
あばら屋なんかどこにあんだよ。回っていくのかよ。
We can't be seen from the path. Let's wait here to see where Constantine goes.
Look, he's coming.
どこにいんだよ。後を追うとかさ、後を追うとかさ、遠回りすぎないか、おい。
Himself here. Let's follow him quick.
今まで行けなかったところが行けるようになったと。っていうか、ここ行けなかったわけじゃなくて通れなかっただけだもんな。ここは来たことあるもんね。なんか戦わなきゃいけないような。
Constantine, what are you doing? Cousin! You're here! I would have preferred that you learn all of this another way. To be able to reveal everything to you in better circumstances. But whatever power we earn, there are some things that escape us.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but what are you doing here?
本当何言ってるかわからんよ。
I am well aware of that. But I promise to explain everything when the moment is right. Then you will understand. You will see. The temptation is so great to share all with you right now. You have done so much for me. You have given me so much. I haven't forgotten, believe me. But I still have more to do. Forgive me and have patience. Hold them back. But do not kill him for anything in the world.
in. Come back and explain yourself. He's gone mad. It's the only explanation.
なんかさ、まあここまで来たらだいぶ戦いやすくはなってんだけど、ほんとなんかもう単調だよね、戦い方がね。
Flesh of my earth, help me. You saw him do it, didn't you? You saw him draw from me, steal my children, my guardians, pervert my force.
Yes, but I don't understand.
What he wants: eternity, strength, power. It is what they all want. Those who take without looking beyond themselves. Like all those from the faraway lands.
He wasn't like that. He couldn't care less about all that.
Then it is the sickness, the brevity of his existence that terrified him to the point it changed who he is. You must stop him. Each time that he bonds, he destroys me a little more. And with me, the hope for a cure. And now it's my heart, my most sacred sanctuary that he covets.
終わるかな、そろそろこれ。終わりそうだね。
What is madness?
The consequence of his folly, yes. Believe me, there is no other
あ、
solution.
止めるってことはコンスタンティンを倒さなきゃいけないってことか。
Flesh of my earth, or there will be nothing left to say.
それで多分エンディングかな。
I still can't believe this.
I understand what you feel. I have trouble believing it myself. But Enon Milfrechtaman never lies. We need to stop your cousin by any means possible.
We must learn more if we want to understand his plans and prepare against them. This hiding place he was talking about in his notes. We must find it.
Your cousin's insane, but he's not an idiot. He must have warned his personal guard about us.
You're right. We'll need to be careful.
Being careful will not be enough. We'll need
この
an
まん
army.
ま一気にやっちゃうか、それとも
We'll need allies. The natives will likely help us.
ここはこれで一旦あれか、
We should also be able to
配
count
信
on
終わり
Sigrid.
にして
Her troops will be all the more welcome. And of course, we can also go and find
最後の
another car,
戦いみたいな
as well
感
as
じで
Governor Burr.
あれか。
What an absurd project. On the continent, they would brand us crazy, but not here. On an island where everything is possible.
そうだな、配信自体はとりあえずここで終わるか。
We need to put an end.
で、次になんかトロフィーがもらった。なんか戦利品だからさ、武器とか持ってもさ、装備とか何にもできねえんだけどさ。そうだね、一旦ちょっと区切りがあるから、ここで一旦終わるか。うん、ちょっとここで終わりにして、でちょっと部分的に先進めます。次の配信はまあ間違いほぼエンディングまで行くかなと思うので、はい、それではまた。今日は終わりにします。